What's up guys, this is Anthony with another review, and today we're going to be looking at the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Z Super Saiyan Vegeta. That's this figure right here. Very cool figure. The whole line is very cool, so I'm going to go through all of them. This just happens to be the first one. He stands to the top of his hair 6 inches tall, to the top of his head probably about 5 inches. So he's a decent sized figure. They are supposed to be a smaller scale than the Legends, but if you play it right and pose them right, you can pretty much get them into some nice shots with Legends or other 6-inch figures. Now these figures are known for a great amount of articulation, detail, and interchangeable parts. So before we do anything, let's look at the interchangeable parts. He has a total of 3 different faces. The one you can see there, which is just kind of a standard grimacy, frowny face. He's got this one here, which is a smirky face with the eyes going to the left. And this one here, which is more of a yelling, angry face with a vein on the forehead with the eyes going to the right. So those are all interchangeable, and how you do that is easier if you pop the head off first. So you pop the head off. You don't have to if you don't want to. The face just comes right off. Since this guy doesn't have a separate piece for the hair, it's even simpler. It all just pegs in and pops out all together. So you just push that together, and voila, you've got an interchangeable head. So that's pretty nifty. We'll leave the standard face on for the duration of the review. They do snap on there, so that's pretty good. Now let's talk about the paint. The paint on the head is pretty darn good. I'm a big fan of it. Some people say they have too much shading, but I like it. He's got a real good amount of shading in the hair, which makes it a real nice and dynamic looking figure. Nice and solid paint apps, even though it's yellow, which is really tricky on figures. Looks really good. The face has a little bit of shading, so that's nice. The eyes are painted well, the eyebrows, everything's where it's supposed to be. Those little black lines, they all look good. The blue liner on the neck for the collar, it's got a little bit of bleeding going on, but not too much. It's barely even noticeable by the naked eye, so nothing to worry about there. You can see the detail painting around the edges of the white there on the chest armor. That looks spot on. Same thing with the lines in the yellow parts, beige parts, whatever you want to call them. Everything's spot on. There's some real nice shading on the white, and there is nice dry brush shading on the blue throughout the entirety of the uniform. The same kind of shading as is on the chest is also on the gloves and on the boots. And since we're talking about gloves, let's look at his alternate hands. He has obviously 2 closed fists if I can say it, as you can see there, just standard fists, hard to see in the harsh white light. He also has 2 of these palms right here. Those are for his signature move. And then he also has, well, maybe they're not, I don't know which hand is which. They used it both in the show as far as I could remember. And he's got 2 of these open hands, so 2 different sets of open hands, and then the 2 closed fists. So 6 hands in total, plenty of interchangeability. That covers it for his accessories. Let's talk about sculpt and articulation. Now, as you saw, the head's removable, and there's kind of a hollowed area inside the neck, or inside the bottom of the head, the base of the head. That allows for a great range of motion. Really, any pose you want to do, you can do it. Pop this off just to show you what we're talking about. Do be careful if you have this. This hair is pointy. It's definitely not for kids. I know it says on the package like 15 and up or something. This is really pointy. I broke the skin a little bit just now, so be careful if you are younger or like me and you're not paying attention. So this is the articulation we have for the neck, for the top part of the neck. It's a ball disc with a peg, so it has this hinge here, and of course that part can also spin around however you need it to, so plenty of range of motion there. The neck is on a ball peg. It's super limited though. Some of them have a lot more, some of them have a little bit less. This is one of the ones with less. Do be careful because sometimes they stick. Okay, let's put the head back on without drawing blood. Now for the shoulders, they have a moving ball peg in there. This little cup part right here, that's just like a free floating piece that fills in the joint. The ball peg moves independently of that, but that just fills it in to make it look better. Then it's a ball disc for the shoulder. Just hinges right on that, so that moves independently of the hinge. Then he's got a bicep swivel right there, double jointed elbow, which is stuck right now. Let's see if it works on this side. Yeah, they're both kind of stuck. Yeah, there we go. Double hinged elbow right there. And then the wrist is on the same joint as the head, as the neck. So ball disc that swivels and pivots. So full range of motion there. The hands just pop on and off as simply as that. Nice and easy, no worries about breaking stuff there. The torso is on a double ball peg, so full range of motion. It is somewhat limited on Vegeta since he doesn't have anything. On the figures with the loose clothes, they have a belt and it lets the articulation be like that so you can pose it better. But since he doesn't have that, you can't really pop him up like that. You have to leave him down. So he is somewhat limited when he's down, but you can pretty much get it out however you need to. And if you pose it right, you won't even be able to see the gap, so that's fine by me. For the hips, they're kind of a unique joint. What you have is a ball peg, which is on a hinge or a pivot. So that peg itself moves in and out. Effectively, all you're getting is this out of it. So it allows for the leg to drop down so you can stick it out to the side more or forward more, which works really effectively. I do like that. So then you have also the peg that pegs into the hip socket, which is a ball peg, so full range of motion on that itself, and then the thigh rotates around on that. So great range of motion for the hips, really effective, and some people say you can do that to give them some extra height. I don't recommend it because it just looks stupid. Same thing with that. Sure, he's taller, but why? Looks like a crash dummy or something, so don't do that. Double jointed knees, nothing special there. The ankle is the same. Oh no, that's right, this guy has a double ball peg for the ankle. I'm sorry, I almost said it was the same thing as the wrist. It's not. Double ball peg, so somewhat limited in the ankle, but you can get some rocker motion out of it, some forward and back. Not a ton, but it's probably enough. Then you do have the toe pivot as well. So great range of motion, as you can tell. Great sculpt, great paint, great accessories, interchangeable parts, whatever you want to call it. Really, I don't have any complaints on this figure. The only thing that could have made it better was a little bit better articulation in the torso, but I really don't see how they could have done it given the sculpt of the figure being what it is. So it's really a great figure. I highly recommend it. I can't brag enough about it. It's a great figure. I'm super happy to have it. So I suggest you guys go try to find one for yourself. Stay tuned for the rest of the reviews. And let me get him in a real quick pose. And obviously it's nothing fancy, but just a little Vegeta pose. Dun dun dun. Okay, there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for other stuff, and in the meantime, keep collecting.